Well, hello, friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to This Week at Little Hills. Tonight is a steadfast night, and we're going to be talking more about Paul's charge to Timothy. But before we do, I wanted to take us over to Deuteronomy as we continue to look at 52 verses from 52 books for 52 weeks. And the reason I thought we'd stop by Deuteronomy tonight is because we've been thinking about the law, how the law works over the last few weeks. Paul's been interacting with that. And it's really crucial to understand what Paul's doing. He's instructing Timothy on who God is. And we're going to see more about that in just a little bit. But then the question is, well, how should we know about that? It's a question that comes up in our Tuesday night Bible study oftentimes. Why didn't the people know it? How should they? Who should have been telling them? Should the Levites have been doing more? Should the priests? Who was responsible? Well, let's take a look at Deuteronomy. We're going to look at verse 7, but actually we'll cheat. We're going to look at two verses today. We'll look at verse 6 first. It says, "And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart." Now here's our key verse. "You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise." Think about that for a moment. What is the Lord instructing? He's saying, who should be teaching about who I am and what I've done? All of you, every single one. And so when we think about what we're seeing Paul teaching Timothy to do in First Timothy, or what we're doing when we gather on a Sunday night or a Monday night, or come together on Tuesday night for Bible study, or throughout the week if you have another Bible study, or you're just talking to coworkers or family or friends or neighbors or whomever it might be, who's supposed to be conveying what God has taught? All of us. Not special thing for the apostle or the apostle's chosen successor, or for pastors or missionaries or certified Bible teachers of some sort, or anything like that. It's for all of us. God says here, "You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house." When you're just at home, what should you do? You should talk about God's truth. And so when we look at the Old Testament and people don't know God's word, who's at fault? Well, I mean, the king and the religious leaders, yeah, they were at fault. So were the average people who, from generation to generation, have been more preoccupied with other things and forgotten to talk enough about the Lord. Now, I'm not saying that everyone who teaches their children about the Bible is going to ensure that the next generation is super enthusiastic about it. That's not a guarantee, right? It doesn't always happen that. But I think what we can clearly see when the whole society collapses like that is there's been a lot of times where people haven't been passing it from generation to generation. That's why it's so important for all of us to make sure that we're that presence in this present generation. That's why all those different locations matter so much. That we need to make sure our neighbors know, and our coworkers, and yes, the people at church, but also the people we pass when we stop at the gas station on the way to church. What ways, big and small, we don't have to be obnoxious about it, but if we're really wondering what's happening in our society, talked about that last night in the sermon, we need to be doing is talking more about Jesus, who he is, and how God has been faithful through the ages. And even when we're talking about the law and what we should do, we need to make sure it goes right back to how he has been faithful through the ages. Because you know what? When we do that, we're fulfilling this, we see something beautiful happen. What happens as the church is that we don't take that responsibility seriously enough. We want to delegate it out or say maybe some other time. God says, no, every time you're about, when you're walking, when you're sitting, whatever you're doing, teach of my truth. That's our call this week. How can we do that better this week? How can we take those opportunities we normally pass up? Well, it's not in our own strength. And we'll talk about that more at 7 p.m. on Steadfast. So I hope that you'll join me for that. And of course, if you'd like to get into God's word more so you can be sharing it more, great way to do that is to join us tomorrow night at 7:15 p.m. 7 p.m. tonight, 7:15 tomorrow night, Central Time, both, when we have Bible study. And the Bible study is fully interactive. You can ask questions and so on. So please do join us for that. Hope you have a wonderful and blessed week. And I'll see you again very soon.